Welcome to the fourth episode of the Animal Riot podcast, brought to you by Animal Riot Press, a literary press for books that matter. It's your producer, Katie, here, and this episode has been edited to reflect our new name. If you're new to the Animal Riot community, welcome, and you can find out more about us at animalriotpress.com. Now on to the episode with your hosts, Brian Birnbaum, and today's guests, Lizzie and Sean Casteel.
Over the next couple of episodes, we'll be here in the Deep South talking all things literature, art, and collaboration in an effort to shed light on communities often overlooked when it comes to art and culture. In this episode, we're sitting down with the designers of the logo, Lizzie and Sean Casteel, owners of a local Arkansas business, Therein and Development. Lizzie and Sean have both a deep love for all things Arkansas and an insider's knowledge on what it will take to support and enhance the artistic and literary communities here. This hour's brand of fuckery is brought to you by Arkansas's Patois. Katie, our producer, and I have picked out a series of secret Arkansas/Southern words or idioms. If Lizzie or Sean say any of these words, they must take a drink or hereby face terrible karmic wrath. This is the challenge. And the words are y'all, that's the first one. Oh gosh, which I actually defined as an orgasmic cry for existential assistance. I don't know if that's accurate. Next one, Mylanta. I'm not even going to begin to try and describe that one. Tumped, which means fell over. Tumped over. Tumped over. The natural state, which is Arkansas, is the natural state. Whooping! Silly. Which is the battle cry of the Arkansas Razorbacks. And hogs, plural. So Lizzie and Sean do not know that this is the challenge. So every time that they say one of these words, we are going to take a drink. And we will get drunk by doing this. Right now we're here with the beautiful young couple that designed the logo, coming soon with the launch of our website. Our producer, Katie, has her sister here, who can't keep it together right now. And her brother-in-law, Sean, who's a little more composed. He's just got a big grin on his face.
Oh, I'm just watching the show.
You guys want to introduce yourselves? Do you think you're up for that?
Oh,
no, okay, I'll go first.
Okay,
how about I lead? I'll go first.
Thank you.
So how should I introduce us? Do you want us to introduce us as a company or as individuals?
Do individuals, then company. That sounds good.
So my name is Sean Casteel. I was lucky enough to marry Lizzie back when she was Lizzie Rainey. It's Katie's sister.
This is supposed to be about yourself, not us.
I'm just saying why I'm here. Come on. I need an origin story. Haven't you seen the movies?
It's fine. Just go.
Okay. So anyways, I was lucky enough to marry her, and so through that I was lucky enough to work, and that's how I ended up here. So we work on Via. We work at Via. It's our company that we made. It's graphic design, web presence, and basically all things good looking is what we try to do.
Digitally.
Oh, that's a good,
digitally good looking.
That's a good tagline.
All
Is that your
things
tagline?
No, it's not.
It might
things
be
good looking.
It might be now.
It might be now. That wouldn't be bad.
We'll write that down in review.
It's a little what there
sans
needs
alcohol.
There needs to be a word for what's prejudice against ugly people.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be very offensive to them.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Sure.
I'm gonna Google it.
What, prejudice against ugly people? I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just
sure
called
it's a
society.
thing.
I'm
Sure, it's a thing.
Misogyny. Do you want to say something, Lizzie, about yourself? So say something interesting.
Yes, my name is Lizzie Casteel, formerly Lizzie Rainey. I am Katie's sister of Katie.
After you went to the witness protection program.
Oh, you
became
can't
Lizzie
say
Casteel.
that. Now we got to move again.
Oh, yeah, I got married.
Brian,
That's how
I
I'm
blew
now
it.
Lizzie
Come
Casteel.
on.
That's the same thing, right?
We're out.
Yikes, I apologize. I got married to... See, you can't be sweet. I can't go after you because I just right now, I feel so weird being on a microphone right now that all I think about is like poking fun at you.
That's terrible. What? That's so mean.
Well, so you were like, I was lucky enough to marry...
She doesn't feel the same
Lizzie
way.
Casteel,
Wow.
and I was
Yeah.
I was just about to say, and I got this
learning a lot
guy.
today. Wow.
Just saying.
Let's talk about
Okay.
what you guys do. Don't worry, we got
can edit
that. We got that under control. You guys don't need to know
Y'all
about
can
that.
edit.
Okay.
Anyways, ooh, yeah, that's
Oh,
it. Everyone
is y'all
take a drink.
one of them?
I think that's pretty
Take a
good.
drink. Take a
Okay.
drink.
taking a drink. Yikes.
Yeah, Katie,
This
you
is
gotta be on this.
super sweet. I
should've
gotta
sent
figure
you
out
these.
something to cut this with. This is so sweet. I should have had a Coke or something.
We are drinking apple pie bourbon, Rocktown. Now I'm just plugging it.
You know what's really good?
It's very
with
sweet,
it?
but
It's
it's
super
100 proof. So
Yeah.
We're-
You know
getting
what's
our
really
jollies.
good with it? If you care to have a,
Talking to
if
the
you care to, sorry, if you care to have a warm drink, we have some apple cider, and that is delicious.
We also
mixed
have
with
hot
apple
chocolate.
cider.
that could be good.
Just-
Hot chocolate and apple pie bourbon.
That
Perfect.
might be
Let's do it.
disgusting.
that sounds actually real gross.
It sounds
Chocolate apple. That
I'll
sounds
do anything
disgusting.
to make this taste better. Though. So
What? You're the
You know
one
what?
that chose up.
That just became part of the challenge
what?
to just drink it.
Just drink this.
Okay, yeah. So you guys talked a little bit about your company, but now let's talk about it more.
Okay, sure.
A little more in
okay,
depth.
Great.
Let's
I'll
talk,
let
because you
you-
guys made our logo, so
Yes.
Yes.
Let's get
Which we're
behind
very
it.
happy
Let's
to do.
get behind the curtain here.
Okay, so what would you like to know about us?
I don't know
Any-
everything, anything.
Well,
we were
How
trying-
how it started? Yeah, that
Yeah, I
let's
was
start
gonna
with
say.
that. Yeah.
So back in, when did we really start this idea? Back in
Well, the ideas-
January of last year?
No, the idea
Before?
kind of started even before that
Yeah.
when we were working elsewhere and we were just sort of thinking about ways to use our talents differently, And especially, for me,
Yeah.
for programming and for web design, and for you were looking for a creative outlet as well. And you've always been into art and kind of graphic design.
Mm-hmm.
And so really it was just about both of us kind of talking about it enough and working up the confidence to be like, yeah, no, we can try it. And then when we can try it, then you get good at it.
You said Lizzie what is like into art. Were you not? Were you just a
No,
graphic
I
designer?
am artistically
Oh my
challenged
gosh,
to
honey.
say the least.
But you do graphic design. Is
Yes,
that not-
it's
So
thanks
okay.
to the miracles of modern technology, I can see things, but I have absolutely no training or any way to make my hand
Do what your
produce
head
the
says.
thing. So drawing or handwriting or anything is
Same.
atrocious.
Same.
So typing, all of a sudden, oh look at you can read what I'm writing. All of a sudden, I can communicate better. And it's the same thing for art. I can
Mm-hmm.
communicate better through.
Well,
the
you're also
computers.
not giving yourself enough credit. What we really haven't jumped into that Sean is remarkable at, if you've taken a look at our website, it was 100% custom coded from A to Z by
Ooh.
Sean. So it's very designy. It's very great. We had a lot of custom features on there and a lot of things we wanted to convey about us as a company because we really strive to keep things simple, to be straightforward. We want to make it black and white.
Yeah.
In a world that I think is way overloaded with kind of pompous people who want to, flex, their skills, and they want to be picky and choosy on who they work with, and if people's ideas for their own logos are, shitty or they're too small, I guess is what I really mean. They don't want to work with them. But for us, it's like, it's not our logo. It's what you want. And we're going to steer you to hopefully some higher level ideas and
beyond that, so really if you want to talk about how the ideas behind VIA, right, sort of our business ethos, right, would be,
Our
we also were
mission.
looking around as we were doing this and dipping into the, the sort of business world into this, I guess, sort of sector, right, and looking at who is around and we've always kind of had these opinions about Arkansas, but we kind of feel like Arkansas is underserved by the small business community and by the government as far as helping small business owners.
do you mean small businesses don't
Business-
serve the population
so
enough? Like how so?
It's all around. There's just we feel like there's sort of a dearth of businesses that are more community oriented and more oriented towards, I guess, helping the state of Arkansas, really, because we love this state and we love the people here, and we're like 46 on every terrible list that there is, like education. 47. We're just happy that Alabama and Mississippi exist so that we can be ranked above
I
somebody.
think that's what Alabama says about Mississippi.
Yeah, I
it's
think
pretty much
so.
like a.
I think everyone
So-
says that
It's
about
like a-
Mississippi.
it's like a line
but
there.
so for us, what we wanted to do
No
was,
offense to them, though. By the way, I gotta
Yeah,
say that because
absolutely.
our boy George is from
Oh,
Alabama.
yeah.
Well, he
it's
knows
also
that.
not anybody who's from there's fault.
It's also yes, no, and it's also not 100% serious. But we're just tired of Arkansas underperforming. It's so beautiful. The people are so kind, and there's so much potential here that we really want to try and help. And really, the only way that we can do that is we thought to make on the scale that we wanted to is to create a business that could enable and empower other businesses.
What do they
Yeah.
what do they call Arkansas?
The natural state.
Okay, take a drink.
So just to put a cap on kind of our mission.
That was sadistic, but continue.
No, it's good. One of our popular things that you'll see on social media and on our website is the hashtag SucceedVia, and our website is www.succeedvia.com because it's whatever channel a company, especially here locally in Arkansas, may need to succeed. We want to help you get there. We're just that path. So we think in the 21st century, that's digitally nowadays, and it's only going to get more so from here.
Absolutely.
You need to have an online presence, and you need to look good and be confident in what you're going to put out there in order to really believe in your business and make a difference.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you guys, actually before I asked you about, going more in depth with your company, but because you said you code, and you said it's kind of because of your artistic side, and that, those kind of like overlapped and you guys made this.
Yeah.
Getting Arkansas to a place, you just said it's a digital thing now.
Yeah.
So coding is kind of crucial to that.
Yes.
But where did you come from in an artistic sense? Like what did you do before graphic design?
Well,
what got you into art, and what brought that into graphic design?
Yeah. Well, so I guess Katie pointed out not too recently that I've always had a weird just kind of eye for typography and for graphic design without not really knowing it. She pointed it out in a couple of childhood drawings that I did that she has.
Katie facilitates everything.
That's
the lesson of this
but
story.
It's also pretty much. Katie, is a big artist as well, and my mom is, and so is Gangi, our grandmother. So I think it's just kind of something that runs in the family. But I was a dancer most of my adolescent life.
As was Gangi.
Yes.
Gangi is the matriarch of the family.
She is the
We'll say.
matriarch.
And she will be on the podcast. That's what I'm being told right now.
Gangi's
I
gonna
kind of
be-
knew that.
Oh, that's
Gangi's
gonna
going to be
awesome.
on the podcast? Oh, that's
Yeah.
going to be adorable.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
We just got to get her up for it. That's the only thing.
Oh, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
She's going to be so cute.
She'll do it. She is so cute. Have you guys ever seen the Allen Iverson we talking about practice thing?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I showed her that, and she was cracking up.
Practice. We talk
About
about practice.
And she's like, and she's just like giggling, and she's like,
Hey, I
"Oh,
was
he
the
has had just about enough."
Oh my god.
Because she saw the shirt that my friend Devin gave me, and it just says "We talking about practice."
That's so
He gave that
good.
to me, and Katie was wearing it the other day.
I have not thought about Allen Iverson in about 15 years, so that's
Oh
great.
god, yeah, it's great.
I
It's great.
loved Allen Iverson.
But anyway, okay, yeah, so that's cool. So you did a lot of stuff. It wasn't just one thing.
Yes. Yeah. And so when I actually started full-time job right now is when I was introduced to what the glorious Adobe Creative Cloud is. And that's when I really understood that graphic design was a career and a booming career at that. And I've just dedicated as much time as I can. We both have to learning as much as possible and just continuing to learn. It's exhausting.
Yeah,
but,
and like we were saying, it came from looking at Arkansas's design, the local companies here, and seeing it's just so clearly local. You would see a national ad run, and then you would see a local ad run, and you just knew the local ad because it was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think-
the graphics were bad.
dog shit, yeah.
It was so bad, and so then. When you see that all the time, you may not think about it, but then you start to think less of local companies. It just happens visually, and you just pick all that up. So when you see terrible logos, you start to associate that with local companies, and then if you had a bad experience in it, it's just these are things that local businesses do that they don't think about that drive customers away. That's why locally you have businesses that look the best are the ones that do the best. Companies like Middleton, who invest a ton in their ad campaigns, all of the car companies here locally.
Loblolly.
Yeah,
here is
Loblolly
a
has
good
some
one.
fantastic work as well. But there's just so many
It's funny
companies.
you just said a car company because I was about to say that I feel like no matter what city you go to,
Yeah,
Yes.
you always
some
see-
car dealership is going to have the shittiest commercial
Oh,
that's
for
ever
sure.
been created.
And it's always, and here in the South,
some
we have
dude
a
who looks
special-
like he's going to get indicted
yeah,
on like a
you
Me
need-
Too charge or
Now,
something.
now
you know?
it's here,
Oh, for
and,
sure.
and it's definitely different on the Northeast too, because you guys have the quintessential used car salesman.
Yeah, we
you have
do.
the true blue. Like, okay, like I need to check my wallet, like when I leave here. You know what I mean? Did I accidentally sign something when I went in? Here you have the guy who used to sell ATVs in his front yard and now has graduated to the side of the highway and has an official Honda dealership. And it's like 12 cars and, you know, it's named like Bert's, I don't know, it's Bert's
Why is
Garage.
Burt Reynolds.
For sure,
Welcome,
rest in
Burt
peace.
Reynolds.
Rip.
We sell you Hondas.
Yeah, and so when you see that again, it just creates this idea that local companies are crap and Arkansas companies are crap, and we feel like that permeates the culture of Arkansas. A lot of times, a lot of people aren't proud to be from Arkansas, especially when they leave the state. Here, internally, we're all very proud Arkansans.
Katie's looking at you right now. Like,
hey, when she's in town, she's got it right. She'll call the hogs at some point. You just gotta get her.
Drink.
Damn.
Oh, dang it.
I love it.
That's on the list. You have to talk. We have no sports teams. There's only
No,
one.
you don't.
There's absolutely
and they're not even
nothing.
good.
No,
I'm sorry.
We were terrible.
Oh
this
no,
year.
you don't have to
We're
apologize.
okay.
You play in
Very well
you play in the
aware.
SEC, so
Look,
like
yes,
it's I
but
understand,
we're also dominant in track and field, but nobody cares. So
I care.
we
I ran
got
cross country.
So many goals.
That's almost track and field.
Then Arkansas, it's almost track and field.
It's almost track and field.
Nice.
We warmed up on the track.
Speaking of, I watched some cross country the other day. Were you a shorty shorts guy or were you a underwear
Oh, we
guy?
were.
or
Can
were
I
you
ask
We had
why
custom-
the fuck you were watching cross?
We watched it. It was on like the
I'll
news.
tell you
They
right
were
now.
talking about a local thing, and it was some story. Anyways,
I'll tell
And
you,
I
it's
was like,
riveting.
Are some people running in underwear?
I just need
You
to
know-
go on record that I don't remember this.
You know, our roommate runs marathons, right? Our old roommate Devin.
No.
But yeah, he got me into.
Have y'all seen the OA?
He got
Okay.
me. Yes, we have. He got me into watching marathons.
Why? Come on, you gotta focus.
It's like when you're in her mind, it's like everything's interesting. You just got to follow it to
Yeah.
its logical terminus. You know what I mean?
Y'all are gonna have some good stuff to.
This is all recorded.
Yeah, but don't worry, we got
Yeah.
it. We got
So,
you. We're gonna make
and-
you guys look so terrible. It's gonna be beautiful. No,
it's
I'm
not
just
going to
kidding.
be hard to do. So
Just leave it how it
to
is.
go back to the ad thing, I did not also want to disparage local companies. There are tons that are doing it great. Even the car dealerships
that's-
that do fantastic work.
that's what I was gonna say.
But there are so many that are disadvantaged because they don't have the income to approach the companies that do the high class ads, the high class marketing, the high class graphics. Because you're talking about an intro website for some of these companies is $5,000 and up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can't get anything for less than a grand at some places.
So that was my other
Yeah.
question. Do you guys think it's possible to start a company without someone who can code? Any sort of company today? Like, can you think of one?
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
okay, that's a terrible question. There's obviously a shit ton of like shit ton of
industry,
service
yeah.
industry
Yeah.
shit. I don't know how to phrase that question. I just feel like coding.
Do you mean a
has
company
become,
that can scale? Because
Essential.
that's
I
really,
guess maybe that's a good way to frame it.
because
yeah.
the easy thing and the best thing about coding in software or web design, web programming, whatever you want to do with software, with coding, is that it can scale almost to an endless degree. As you can see with Facebook, Google, and Apple, you can do anything and go anywhere with these companies. That's obviously one of the big things and one of the big attractions. So I think if you're talking about something that scales to that degree, then I don't think it's possible to do without, already being someone who could make a large company on your
Right,
own.
you at least have to
You
have
have to
a
have
platform to sell it online.
Exactly.
At the least.
Yeah, you
because
have to
brick
have
and
the-
mortar is not enough these days.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, but anyways, I was just curious about that because you guys are just kind of very fortunate, as we were too. We
yeah.
had someone who quit Amazon and came
Yeah.
to us and said, "Let's do this." And
Yeah.
without him, we would have had to figure out that whole back end thing by
Oh,
ourselves.
supply chain? Yeah.
There's no way we
Oh,
would have been able to do
brutal.
that.
It's
I mean,
rough.
Katie can make a site on Squarespace, like
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
But to get like distribution down, and all that stuff, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think we could have
tough.
done that.
The gritty reality, it's tough.
Yeah, we are also fortunate to be living in Arkansas, I think, and to have the market that we do because it's very.
Less
I guess there's a
tapped.
lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it's less tapped,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of chances to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
And show them that it's not a scary process. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, and there's an easy way to understand all the files you need, all the pictures you need, and why you need these things. And it's a small example, but I think the world, to some people, especially in rural communities, that some people don't really consider, they don't fully have the access to the internet or to any sort of technology that people in larger cities do. And so it's crucial to meet them where they are and help them, get educated.
Is
on
that
the
ever
things
frustrating
that they need.
though? Is
Yeah,
it ever
yes,
frustrating how
it
much you
is.
need to? Because I take it from someone who cannot deal with technology to
Yeah.
save their life. Like seriously,
That's funny.
I mean, I can't even rake some fucking leaves as you guys. So
Hey, that's
earlier
pretty
today.
low tech though. I bet you could have done the
I don't
blower.
know. You
The
get
leaf blower
an
is
abstract mind like mine. You start counting
That's
the
fun.
tines on the rake, and
Oh, no,
you
it's
lose
gone.
yourself.
I
Without any
say-
drugs in my system, mind you.
You know who I was just thinking about when you mentioned if it's, frustrating, meet people where they are and work with people at that level. We actually just worked with a client who really wanted to set up this blog because they had a message that they wanted to send, and they were more focused on what they wanted to write than how to get it online, how to do all those things. And when you put yourself in that person's shoes and you really empathize with them,
I can commiserate with that.
Yes,
for
then
sure.
it makes it so much easier. I'm not saying it's not all a walk in the park,
really
but it makes
is
it wonderful.
We want to make it as easy as possible on people. We also want to make the world of great looking things, great looking websites.
Anti-ugly people. No.
Yeah, for sure. Back to I looked it up. It's called lookism, by the way.
Oh, beautiful.
I feel like that's cheating.
Hey, I'm just saying what Wikipedia said.
No, that's it.
The thing that I wanted to finish about with the businesses and speaking of budgets and making things approachable is that, again, you can't, like I said, you can't get in the door for less than $5,000 or $1,000. So we shoot for, we start at websites at $500, $750, depending on what you want.
And so how do you guys do that? Then other people can't.
We just have less overhead. We don't
have an office. You don't have other employees.
Exactly. So
you're in our office.
Yeah, exactly. So we make sure we keep our costs low so that your costs can be low. We meet you where you are so that, again, you don't have to pay for our office while we work on your stuff.
Yeah. So basically, you guys made our logo at this table.
Yeah,
we did.
More or less. A couple of the other
designed
offices
a few
as
times
well.
here.
Yeah, for sure. On the couch outside, all over the place, really.
Wow. Do you guys interact with the arts and culture scene around here?
We've definitely started to, and it's especially easy thanks to social media. So, which we are on.
Yes, which we are on a lot of things. So go follow us.
Yes.
And hashtag plug. Okay, so we do interact with the arts community here, both in Maumelle and in Little Rock, online, mostly for now, just as we are so new that we're still kind of trying to get our feet on the ground, make sure that we are really ready to work for our clients, because that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
But we've made a lot of actually very interesting contacts this year that we're excited for 2019 to hopefully participate in a couple of fairs that are going on here in the city, maybe do an exhibit booth or two and get to know people a little bit more, get to know vendors a little bit more, and to offer a more collaborative experience, really.
It'll also be part of the next phase. Early next year, we're going to be adding photography to our services. So as part of that, we'll be out and getting... We figured we need to get out there and interact once we're a little bit more stable. So
which one of you guys is the photographer?
It's going to end up being me, for sure. I've always been... You don't want to see my phone. It's just photos of the dogs, but I'm always like, oh, yeah,
that's basically, that's the same. Same.
But so I've always been obsessed with documentation. I'm a historian essentially by nature. So photos and preserving things kind of appeals to me. So, we've been kind of working on it for the past 4 or 5 months, the photography sort of base and foundation. So the next thing is getting out there and doing it, practicing. So we're going to be practicing over the next couple months. And then once it's good enough, we'll be offering it as a service to clients. We're not going to be just winging it.
I mean, festival is an interesting idea. We're looking into doing a festival starting our own. Katie's bugging our director of the MFA program at Sarah Lawrence to do a prose festival. Because they only do poetry, and poetry's inferior to prose.
Hey, you know what? If you really want to pitch it, we'll design a little band, and then you can go to her.
Oh yeah, I can design the flyer.
Ooh,
we'll do
on the air. We are
can do some cool
just
we'll do it beforehand.
Digging gold.
When you go to pitch, we'll work with you. We'll design something. Then you're gonna have a little something extra.
Our producer is nodding her head and jutting her lip.
Yeah, we'll make
in the universally accepted sign.
Approved.
We call that
approval.
The Winston Churchill. That's what we call that one.
Yes, the Winston.
Where's the whiskey?
We will fight them on the field. We will. Wait, I don't know. Give me a cigar. I'm drinking.
We will defend our aisle.
This is a question for you guys.
Okay.
Would you guys say you are moderate or like? What kind of reading do you do? Like, do you read every day? Do you read once a week? Do you read once a month?
Reading in what regard and what capacity?
Like pleasure?
What's the
a book, like an actual physical book, or on your Kindle.
Or a Kindle.
Right. Is this for pleasure or for work?
For pleasure, yeah.
For pleasure?
Yes.
Never. I never.
Or for learning that doesn't directly have to do with work.
It's tough.
It's not like
it's kind of hard when you started a new business because you're learning every day, everything, and everything you read is so oriented to, work that it's impossible. Like, so if I'm reading anything, I'm somehow looking for some way to apply it to our company and to the way that we do things, especially. So if I'm reading, it's hard to read for pleasure because even when you're reading for pleasure, in the background, you're thinking
of how you can use it for yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been hard for us even for the last 3 months. Just starting to be very difficult. I think I'm reading my second or third book for pleasure since we started.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yes.
I'm reading
And
Hermione.
what was your average?
I'm reading
capacity?
Hermione Hobie's Neon and Daylight. I'm gonna plug that right now because it's
Yeah.
actually really fucking good. Yeah, it's amazing.
That's
But anyway,
funny. I actually
continue.
just read an article today that book was really good.
Oh, really?
So that's funny.
Where was it? I'm curious.
I couldn't tell you.
BuzzFeed.
We'll figure it out later.
No,
No,
I'm
I
gonna-
was kidding.
I'm gonna be honest. I found the article was from Pinterest because I was just browsing and it recommends.
Hey,
books
you got to
to
do
me,
what you got to
so.
do. You know, I mean,
I'm just
she's
saying.
got to get her stuff out how
Whatever,
she can.
yeah,
you know?
whatever article that was,
Yeah.
Pinterest is working for her. So
Yeah, no, it's very good. She's a wordsmith. Anyway, so
yeah.
I guess
Now-
the follow up to that question is how would people that are as busy as you, which are a lot of people our age,
I actually was gonna
start reading more for pleasure, and not just that, but like books that we're gonna put out that are maybe a little more difficult
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well,
you
one
know?
of the
Not
things-
necessarily, but you know.
One of the things that I was actually going to say is if you ask me the question, how much literature have I consumed, it's different than how many books I've read because I do have tons of audiobooks and I do constantly listen to them, even if it's
That counts.
old. Yeah,
That counts.
even if
even though it's a different brain skill.
yeah, if
what's
it's,
the difference?
if it's
to
stuff
us?
that I've even if it's rereading, I can't tell you how many times I've listened to Dance of Dragons, the last Game of Thrones, just because it was when I was traveling and when I'm going around places. It's like when I just press music real fast. If I'm not like I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to pick a song.
I'm assuming that's fantasy. It's got to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
fantasy.
it's
I
Song
used to be
of-
obsessed with fantasy when I was like.
Well, it's from Song
young
of Ice and
adolescent.
Fire. It's the Game of Thrones. It's their last.
I should
their last
probably know
book.
that, but
Yes.
as a person who reads
good.
fucking snobby
It's
literary
good.
fiction, you know,
George
I just
R. R.
don't.
Martin he's
I read the first one.
It's-
I read the first one.
he's more
liked
of a he's not. I don't know. He's got really good stories. Him as a writer, he just takes his time a little too much. He talks about food for pages, and I get it. If that's your aesthetic, not everyone can be Hemingway. You know, you don't need to
oh God.
go the other way. Do you not like Hemingway?
Katie just
No.
Yeah,
We just-
Hemingway.
we
A
just
lot of
touched
you know
a
what's
sore
funny is I've
spot.
never met a girl who actually liked Hemingway. That's not as a sexist thing.
I'm
just
sorry,
saying I've
but
never.
Well,
I
I
have-
think you're talking about a
I have to
modern
agree.
woman. A modern woman
Yes.
is hard to find that likes Hemingway.
I could
Yes,
see
I
that,
would agree
especially
with
yes,
I would
because
agree
of
with
his
that.
approach to masculinity.
Why?
For sure.
Katie is asking me why in sign language, by the way, because she knows it,
Yes, because she knows.
and
it.
I can read it because my parents are deaf. But what did you just asked me why you don't like Hemingway and why modern women don't like Hemingway? I would say it's because he's viewed as misogynistic, and I would say that's true to a large extent.
Yeah.
But it was also a product of the time. I
Yes,
think he was
I
speaking
don't
for
blame
men.
him for
I
sure.
think he was
Well, I
speaking for a
think-
lot of men at the time, and that is misogyny
Yeah,
at
it
this
was,
point, you know.
for sure.
And also, in Katie's view, I mean, I'm speaking strictly for her, but maybe other people feel like this is she just thinks he's boring.
Yeah. Oh no, that's what I mean. Also,
Katie's raising the
There-
roof
you either
as
have-
if I've just killed
All
that
10
response.
fingers
it's gonna
raising.
be both, and it can be either or it can be both for people. But those are which I almost always heard, and I don't particularly like Hemingway. He's just really easy to drop because everyone who's read Hemingway remembers where they were like,
Hemingway,
is
yeah.
that everything that's
Lizzie,
gonna
do
go
you
on the
have a-
page here? Is that all you're gonna tell me?
Do you have
It's like
an
two-
opinion on Hemingway, or have you never read him?
I have read him.
Mm.
I would kind of agree that I find him a little boring. I just didn't. Whenever I was reading a Hemingway novel, I never remembered really about the novel, and I feel like any good story, you just
You would
remember
remember, yeah.
it. I always relate
That's
it
actually,
back
you know what,
to
it's true.
to be
Style
totally
does not-
honest.
it's so nondescript that you're kind of like,
Yeah.
continue.
To be totally honest, I just relate it to Harry Potter. I think no matter when or where that book, it stands a little bit right now. I know it's still, very new in terms of how long literature has been alive, but I think that Harry Potter and you remember that story. It fills you up and
That's
it
true,
enriches
actually.
your life. And there are other novels that do the same thing that, for me, The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak, I think is how you say his name, is it's one of my favorite novels. It's an amazing,
I've heard of the
amazing
title.
book.
So
amazing.
I've
I would
never-
read that over and over again.
I feel like my
It's
mom's
just
read that.
amazing.
I'm not sure.
It's more.
Read
It's
it.
definitely more mainstream for sure.
Yes, read it.
Is it
amazing.
commercial or is it like kind of
So it
like
was
genre
it was
fiction?
actually made into a movie too.
Okay.
It's set in World War II.
Yes,
It's told
someone
from the
steals the
perspective-
manuscript. I know what. I remember the
It's-
movie. I
yeah,
did not see the movie, but I know what you're talking
so
about.
it's
now.
this
Yeah.
family who hides a Jewish person during World War II
Uh-huh.
in their basement, and it's this little girl told from her perspective and Death's perspective. So it's pretty neat. But I would say, just to turn it back to your original question, as far as reading when you're trying to
all
set
the
up
way
a new
back.
business. like this. I think that really one of the most important things to read for pleasure, which is important for everyone to do throughout their life, I think, is because it takes you, I think it gives you a mental break. It releases you from your current story, the current life you live, and puts you in a new one, and you get a minute of solitude and a minute to be creative and to think, however you want about the same story someone else read, and you're still going to find it different. And I think that's the wonder that books bring. And even if they're an audiobook, whatever it is, you're listening to it and you're digesting it in a way that's completely different from whoever else would do the same.
Yep. No, that's a good point you brought up, because my friend Ben, who's a doctor, and doctors have no fucking time. Yeah. He's at the end of his residency, right? He can only listen to audiobooks at this point. Like, it's not even just a time thing. It's the bandwidth. Like, he has to actually listen to it at this point. It's tough.
Yeah. But and that's the tough part about it. So I think, part of reading and something that I hope to do in 2019 as a hashtag resolution is to read more. And I
feel like resolutions are even harder to keep than if you just like maybe keep it in the back of your mind.
So here I'm recording it. I'm gonna try and commit to reading more. Yeah. There you go.
I'm gonna send this to you every day, like on a little like text.
Here you go, bitch.
So mad.
Read, bitch, read.
Fake news.
No, but I think
you're gonna start denying it.
I think that part of reading and including that in your life is it's just part of a self-care routine. Is to find that 10 minutes, that 30 minutes to include in your ritual that you take to just read, whether it's before bed. For me, I'm gonna try and do it at least more when I'm like cooking breakfast and getting coffee and just eating in the morning. Even if it's 15 minutes, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to finish a book. I think as long as you finish it.
I have another question, and I'm going to use a phrase
Ask away.
For you, goyish, barely post-equatorial Philistines.
Wow, that was a lot of really unnecessarily big words.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it to you straight because I'm from Arkansas. So
we'll translate. Oh, please don't put yourself down like that.
I'm just saying.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
I am not. I'm just saying that there is a time and place to write.
No, that was a purposeful use of $10 words. What do you got? So how do you guys view the literary scene like around here? Do you even view it? Is it even seen?
I'd say one of the things that a lot of people don't necessarily realize about Arkansas and the South in general is that it's hard to have a literary scene when you have a literacy problem as opposed to a literary problem. Arkansas, I mean, it's, if you talk about the rural areas, there's actual literacy issues in the state. You have actual issues with education. We have schools closing. We have things like that. So it's very hard.
Are these public schools or are they charter schools?
We have some public schools
that close, consolidations.
Yeah, some public schools to stay around have
One of the
to
schools that I went to growing up had funding cut and doesn't exist anymore.
It's interesting you guys say that because Mariah has this deaf friend, Ricky, that we saw at the bar last night. He's like 60 or something. I thought it was much younger. Mariah is Katie's best friend, by the way. Yeah. She'll be on the podcast.
Yes.
We'll insert that later.
Okay.
So Ricky.
But anyway, Ricky was talking to us, and he's hardcore ASL, which is different than
yes, I saw your post about.
Yeah, right, today. Which is different than like sign English, which is like in more of the. Sometimes you'll get more in the urban areas. I want to say it is because there is a little bit more literacy. I don't know if that's very accurate though. I'm hesitant to say that.
Yeah.
But he was very hardcore ASL. He was talking to us about being able to recognize that and being able to communicate with people that are more hardcore ASL, because when you get what you guys were just talking about, a literacy problem, you go into the deaf population, you multiply that by however much.
We do have a fantastic school for the deaf here locally who does everything they can, but they don't have enough funding, and their nonprofits don't get the support they deserve. We're actually working with the nonprofit for Arkansas School for the Deaf.
Oh, cool.
The Arkansas School for the Deaf Foundation. They're fantastic people. Stacy and Kevin are there, who we've been working with.
What are you guys doing for them?
We're doing the new logo. We're doing
we're doing some marketing materials.
Yes.
Are you guys just doing that pro bono, or are they like contract?
No, so we're contracting with them, but
that's super cool.
We offer a 50% discount to all nonprofits, but very specifically we cater to, and we try to give the first slots of our time basically to those that focus on literacy for children or any sort of educational program for children. Because our state is so underfunded in those areas. And we actually just elected our first African-American mayor in Little Rock. So
that's a big deal.
He has a
down here. I would think. I don't know.
So we've had, if you didn't know, just a little bit of Little Rock
let's finish out the school thing real quick. So,
Oh, yes, okay.
yes. So the deaf
Fair.
community, and they do everything they can. So it's just interesting because people who love Arkansas and want to see Arkansas grow recognize that there are those problems, and they're pervasive. They're everywhere, and it's just like what I was saying with small businesses, where you can feel a weight or something pulling you down, whether it's stagnation, keeping you from new and fresh ideas and new and fresh things. It's the same thing in almost every aspect of Arkansas in a lot of ways, whether it's literacy. There's just foundational issues holding us back. And, we can't get in there and fix everything. We're just trying to do what we can.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so back to what we were talking about. So Ricky was saying there are those problems, right?
Yes.
No. It just, I think it's not just, it's a deaf thing that got compounded by an Arkansas thing.
Yeah,
is basically
absolutely.
what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
'Cause
education has been
if you go to
rate here.
no, I
as
mean
far
like
as
if you go
funding.
to DC where I'm from, basically where my parents live in DC now,
Yeah.
and that's where all their friends lived. I mean, it's a different world in deaf
Is that where the
culture up
American
there.
School for the Deaf is? Where's the American School for the Deaf?
No, are you talking about Gallaudet?
No.
There's the Gallaudet University.
Yeah, that's that's
Yeah,
Yeah,
but there's
this
actually an
is-
American School for the Deaf, isn't there?
Yes.
a
and
college.
No, it's a
K
state.
through.
It's a K through 12.
It's a residential. Why
yeah,
couldn't I
and
think of the
I've
word
never heard of it
residential?
actually.
I will.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's supposed to be great.
We learned
Um,
about them
yes,
while
we did,
doing this
via ASDF.
work for ASDF. Yeah.
Who are
That's awesome though, and I think it's way cooler that they gave you a contract too. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just like they were kind of looking for a handout or something. Like
No, and
they should be
they're-
getting
and
involved.
actually that
they
was
should
one
be
of the
making
things-
they should be legitimizing themselves
well,
too.
and that's one of the things
Yeah.
that we talked about with them, and they talked about with us, is they are also like-minded with us, where they want to contribute to Arkansas locally, and they feel like
Yes.
the change can come. If people aren't going to help lift us up, we can all lift ourselves up. And so, working with other local businesses and working in affordable price ranges is something that they're trying to do, and something that we're trying to do as well.
Yes, and it's actually Stacy, who is one of the folks that we're working with over there. She, when we were discussing it, specifically mentioned
Yes.
that one of the things they were looking for is kind of, oh, would it be cool if we worked with a local company
Yes.
and gave this shot to someone local? And so they gave us the shot, and we won the bid, and we put our best foot forward. And I think that just goes to not only show what local to local can do, but also, just from any educator standpoint, turn to your next door neighbor. It doesn't have to be such a big mountain to climb, I think.
Yeah.
There's a
Did
lot
you
of
guys
local
win the bid? Do you
companies.
think because not purely based on price, or do you think it was a lot of like what you guys
I
proposed?
think it was both, probably.
It was both.
I asked
yes.
that. I actually asked that like from personal experience because I work for my dad's sign language interpreting company. He was
Yeah.
the first deaf owner of a sign language interpreting company ever.
Oh,
Which
really?
was kind of
Wow.
ridiculous considering
Wow,
the
that's
fact
funny.
that
You would have thought.
because none of these companies knew what the fuck they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't.
Wow.
They had no idea. And
That's
and
insane.
and everyone was. I mean, interpreting services were in the toilet, despite the
Yeah.
fact that there was ADA laws and all that shit for
Mm-hmm.
a couple decades. I know that when we bid on things, sometimes like especially the government is like, what's the lowest price?
Yeah.
Yes. So part of actually what's the fortunate part for us is that I'm actually, while we're trying to start our small business, I actually work full time for a nonprofit. So fortunately for us, working with folks over there, I got to understand their needs a little bit and understand first what they can afford. I'm aware of what nonprofits go through specifically in terms of funding. They have a lot of hoops to jump through, and so when we were working with them, we offer that discount regardless.
Yes.
But of course, we know that what won us the bid was not only the fact that we offer such a great discount, but that we have had such a history with the deaf community. One of my best friends is deaf, and Sean is starting to learn some
Yes.
ASL, and we would
Well,
love
that's
to get
what-
to know that community.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of which,
Yeah.
because your friend Shelby,
Yes.
when she became deaf when she was like 10 or something like that in childhood, right?
Yes,
And so then
so
she learned
I-
ASL, right?
Yes, so she is 100% deaf now. She has 2 cochlear implants.
Did she have those last time I saw her? Cochlears?
Yes. At the wedding.
Yes.
Yeah.
She did?
Yes,
She just-
before
I
our
don't
wedding,
remember
she
that.
did.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, sorry. Time has really transported me since I've graduated college. I don't really understand what year it is or when things happen.
Trust me, it only gets worse.
So she was really a big part, and I also have studied 4 years of ASL college, so I got to go to a lot of community events. That's part of what the experience is in college, is that you go and immerse yourself in that culture. So sitting down with people there were a few church functions and just kind of coffee social type situations, but getting to try and sign with people when they know you can't sign at all and you can barely understand how to sign a fruit, as much as how to have an actual conversation. They're just so kind and just welcome you in. Working with ASDF has been wonderful, getting to know that stuff and getting to bring that to the table, which has made it a unique
They're also so
bid
dedicated
to have.
too, right? And I think that's what's great about nonprofits. And you were asking about kind of what made us win the bid or what, and whether it was price or whether it was quality. And we picked that price as one, just a deal we want to offer, but it's also an incentive. We want these. We think we have a product that is going to really help people and a service that's really going to help people. And so we want these people that we think do more than just have a business. They contribute to society as a whole, into the parts of society that we care about. So we want them to come to us. We want them to have almost no choice but to work with us if they have 4 bids, because ours is going to be drastically lower. Because not only are we not going to try and pay ourselves at the wazoo to pay for a big office or pay for whatever, we're also going to give you a discount because we know that you're going to get further with us than you are with someone else for less money.
Yeah.
And so that's just by design. And also for nonprofits, it's doubly true because no one can really stretch a dollar like some of these nonprofits. They get so little funding here and so little contribution. You give some people $100 down here, they'll make things happen that you couldn't believe, let alone thousands and thousands.
I know that.
Yeah.
Since I've been down here, I've been amazed at how cheap everything is.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
not just that, but these people are so dedicated. They'll pay themselves $8 an hour and use the rest for whatever they can for this cause that they're so dedicated to. And so that's why we want to make these offers to these people, because they can really use it, and they honestly need a little bit of help sometimes. So hopefully we can try and help.
Well, I will say right now, just because we were talking about, I guess, deafness and stuff like that, we do our, well, this is for us, I guess. We do transcripts for every episode just to make sure that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So anyone who's listening, if you got deaf friends, let them know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's so funny that you mentioned that, because one of the things that Shelby and I bitch about the most is the closed captions on
absolutely.
anything.
So
in the
bad. I
world.
literally started taking a list. I went through all the podcasts, and for my dad's company, I was thinking about just reaching out to all these people. I'm like starting big. I'm trying to get out to Joe Rogan right now. Because they doesn't have captioning on it, and I'm
Really?
like, there's a lot of deaf people in the
sure.
world.
Wow.
That's a big audience to capture,
Yeah.
And so
Especially, they have money to blow. They can easily do that.
Exactly.
Easy.
That's pennies to them.
Absolutely.
Not even. It's
Yeah.
micro.
Yeah.
Micro units.
And
Micro-
nowadays,
Yeah.
especially with the technology you have that could do it for you, it's not even.
That's the thing. I'll tell you.
Oh, like dragon dictation and all that stuff.
No, I know it's not perfect,
Yeah,
but it saves you a lot of work if it transcribes.
You know what the problem
beforehand.
is? It actually works pretty well. The big problem is you can't tell who's speaking.
Yeah.
And if you're
Oh,
actually
true.
deaf, and you're looking
that's true.
at the captioning, they don't have name tags
They
or anything. They have
don't.
dialogue tags or anything.
Yeah.
So you're just looking at it and you're like, I don't know where, and there's
Yeah.
not even punctuation or anything.
Yeah.
And I was just
it's
like,
just
damn,
straight
man.
like out.
But see,
Like-
I think that's when you work with technology. You let the machine transcribe
And
it
then you
for
go
you,
back
and then
in.
you go back
But
in
they
and
don't
say,
even do that. I
"Here's
know.
who said this." And then
Yeah.
nowadays, AI technology and crazy shit like that is getting so advanced that you could eventually train it to understand
Probably.
who the
Oh,
people
yeah.
in the video are.
I mean, eventually, definitely, but
Yeah,
But
that's for sure.
but that's what I'm saying. It's not. We're in an age today that this should not even be an issue
Yeah, I
whatsoever.
agree.
And
should be
it's
solved.
hilarious to me that it is.
I mean, it's a language barrier, right? It's. I was talking with Katie about it, and I've talked with Lizzie about it too, about how communities are built on like communication.
Yeah,
and
of course.
if you can't communicate, then you don't really have
You
a
don't
community.
build anything, yeah.
And so it's so hard for that to actually happen if you can't even like have a brief conversation about the weather with someone or whatever.
yeah.
But-
I mean,
How
let alone-
isolating.
Yeah,
it
right,
is,
right.
you know?
And
Let
so-
alone like just like that's our main goal. Literally,
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're going into the publishing industry trying to make money or trying to
Yeah.
make a buck, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like it's like my with this is actually ironic because Garth Hallberg, one of my professors at Sarah Lawrence, actually got like a $2 million advance on his last book.
That's
his
funny.
first book, his debut novel.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But he straight up told us, he's like, if you're trying to make money as a writer, like what you
Yeah.
got to re-examine your values or
That's
like,
funny.
like what, or no, not even that, like your motives. Like
Yeah,
what do you,
what is
you know,
the point?
Make a 15-minute YouTube video that'll get you famous. Like,
Yeah,
that's a
for
better
sure.
idea.
There's easier ways.
But anyway, basically, which is to say that, like, we're in this to put good shit out there, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't make any sense for us to start a small press, if not to just reach out to people and then trying to get everyone to start reading stuff that we think is good and like to put out stuff that we think is good. And that, you're absolutely right. That involves communication. It's like how we're going to do that. I mean, all right. So I'll say this one thing about how we are, because we were talking about community and building communities and stuff. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Katie has been talking to Mariah and Drew. Right? Yeah, they're going to do it together. Drew is someone we're going to talk to tomorrow. And he's going to be a part of all this. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a little like girl talk mashup of all this shit. For sure. Basically, we're going to start a salon down here. Mm-hmm. We're not exactly sure what it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be a reading series type thing, but we might have other art forms involved. Yeah. But it's going to be bringing together the literary types and the artistic types. Oh yeah, there you go. That's true. Go?
Oh, yeah, we need to get one for the cities because you guys are going to do this several places.
Yeah, and so Little Rock is one of 3 other cities we're going to be doing it in.
So we can get one where you can sub out the name and it'll be
real
branding.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Hashtag branding.
But anyway, it's going to be Little Rock, Baltimore, and Seattle are the other 3 cities that we're basically just going to reproduce the Dead Rabbits reading series. But,
you're having
in little different
salons is the
Little Rock is going to be a salon. Could do something... similar but different in Seattle. We're not like
similar
totally sure.
Different.
Yeah, right.
So what do you think, if I may ask a question, what do you think is, they're all in different cities, so is your approach going to be different in each city?
Probably. Yeah,
Katie's
nodding her head.
What's the level of? Is it going to be locally managed? Like as far as?
Yes. Every city is going to have their own. Is someone that people that are living there right now. We only have Kyle Marshall for Seattle. I don't know if he's. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to have a partner out there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to cater to the city that we're in. You know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So one of the ideas that I was hoping would come together. For example, this is just to have kind of an analog. I was hoping Albany would come together because I know this guy who ran for assembly up there, and he didn't win, but. I like him a lot. He's a progressive dude. I thought it'd be cool to have a more politically bent sort of reading series up there,
Yeah.
And it ultimately fell through. I haven't heard back from him. But yeah, we're going to kind of just tailor it to whatever's going on in those parts, as they say,
I was going to say, because those are 3 very different cities, New York and Seattle are very different, and obviously Little Rock's different from the
New York and Seattle are far more similar than Little Rock.
That's very true.
Yeah, I was about to say Little Rock is really your outlier.
Little Rock and Baltimore are probably more similar.
That's why I liked Baltimore a lot when I was there. I was like, this is just a big-ass Little Rock. I understand exactly where I am.
That's the thing that surprised me about Little Rock the most, is how small this place is.
It's absolutely.
I was like, this is a city?
Yeah, that's it.
This is like a suburb. This is just a big suburb.
Oh, yeah, it's like, what's the one that starts with the E? It's got a goofy name. God damn it, I can't remember anything about Baltimore.
Elksburg?
Yes, thank God. Oh my God, I could not remember.
So, okay, question about
That's not a big town, though.
No, it's not. I was just thinking.
Yeah, it's weird that you...
Yeah, I was just trying to remember bullshit.
Elk Ridge. Elk Ridge?
No, that's not it.
No, it's not?
Eldersburg.
Eldersburg? I don't know.
Fuck, whatever.
Now I sound like I'm not...
I'm going to interrupt.
And I'm in witness protection.
Just making it up.
I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
What do you think...
The whiskey.
I know, it's the whiskey. What do you think...
Always the whiskey with you.
Stop. That sounds terrible. What do you think the focus at first is going to be for your Little Rock salon? I'm interested to know. What do you think the topic... Or do you do for your reading series, I guess, do you do a topic in mind for... Is this monthly?
Nope.
Do you do a topic in mind for each month? Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so for New York, it's very... Honestly, New York's a little bit more driven by the fact that it's the epicenter of literature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to say in the world, but that sounds kind of ethnocentric.
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, and you probably feel that more, especially that you live there.
Yeah, of course. But it kind of is in a way. But
I can imagine living in New York, having been there and just knowing you guys, and I've known.
And it's not. No,
it's so easy to feel like there's so much going on in New
York.
Yeah,
and it's not. This isn't braggadocio.
No.
It's literally the fact that it's the fact that I moved there for this. It's not like I wasn't born there. I went there for this.
It's the Hollywood for books.
But anyway,
totally.
It's kind of. It's true. It's true. So in New York, it's different because it's become not a... I mean, I don't know if we can say household name, but it's become very, very well known.
Good.
In the literary
scene,
community.
exactly,
in
the
awesome.
Literary community, amongst the literati,
amongst
as we
the
like
literati,
to say.
is that really what it is?
It's which you would think is kind of like a made up word, that like a portmanteau of Illuminati.
I don't believe that's not real.
No, but it actually is real.
If people call themselves a part of the literati,
it is.
What makes up the literati?
Yeah, Katie's talking about how we want to break the literati down.
Oh, you want to do it
to make everyone put everyone on even playing field. It's actually kind of true. It really is.
Well,
I would
then
believe
I will
there's- I
say-
mean, there's a glass ceiling everywhere.
I will
would
say,
believe it.
Right,
though,
right.
on their endeavor.
Wow,
to-
you just appropriated that, didn't you?
I will
the
say,
New York literati. They'd
Keeping
get
it
down your throat about that one.
I think that Little Rock is a great city to break up the literati because we do have
Absolutely.
an education and literacy problem here in the first place. So,
Yeah.
getting boots on the ground and getting the idea on the ground is
Absolutely.
the first thing. But to break up the quote unquote literati, no better place than the capital of a good old southern state to do that.
That's
I agree.
Because we actually, we do have a lot of
Well, it's a low competition
scholars
market.
and low competition. The literary salon, is that right? Literary.
Yeah,
Artist
artist salon, literary
Okay,
salon.
artist
We haven't
Well,
come
I
up with
want to
a,
get the name
you know,
right for the soundbite. Artist.
We
salon.
haven't really consecrated it yet. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Little Rock chapter.
Yeah.
So the artist salon
Okay.
will be an opportunity for people to show their writing, but showcase all sorts of other sort of artistic experiences, including possibly graphic design. Via could be
Absolutely.
there, show some cool stuff,
I
show
couldn't have
some
said it
just
better
random
myself.
art that we've been putting together. But I think that if you're really trying to break up the literati from, is that right? Literati? From, it sounds like Little Rock and like,
I got you.
I'm confused.
We're going to get death
good.
threats.
I know.
From the literati.
But I will say that
Can't say
I
it
think
too much.
Little Rock is a great place to break that up because we do have people here that are artistic and that are creative and that have something to offer to the table.
That's true.
And
It is
Culturism. I feel like
yes,
culturism
we
is
do
a
have
word.
culture here,
And that's
Some
the thing.
people
I
don't
think
so.
I really do think New York is a very superior quote unquote place. Like, you know,
Yeah.
seriously, I
No, it is
I
true.
think people I do think people go there because they think they're better than everyone else.
Well, yeah,
Well, I mean, people
or
go
if
there
you're
to
from there, you
discover
think you're better than
themselves.
I was
everyone
gonna say
else,
it's
you know
more
what
of
I
a
mean?
thing that it's some people move there because they think that's where the better people go for sure.
Right.
And I know tons of people who've moved to New York and they were always. I mean, I don't want to say they were all assholes,
You know what? No, if Sean, if I
but it's people who had bigger goals and bigger dreams and they thought that New York was
They
going to be a
were-
better place to do it,
No, but
and they
let
were
me-
probably right.
Let me tell
Yeah.
you, in Hermione's book right now, Neon
Yeah.
and Daylight, she has a line, or she has a couple of lines about how there's a shit ton of these. You'll see this a lot in New York, where there's these people that have big hopes and dreams that come up, but they're just really awkward out of towners.
Yeah.
You know, that like they romanticize New York to
Yeah.
the point where they
Yes.
make it ostentatious, and it's kind of embarrassing. You
Yeah,
know? They're
I can
like,
see that.
you know, she has this line where like one guy, I think his name's Tom or something, Thomas or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. I might be butchering this. He's like, you know, to the 5 boroughs, he raises
Yeah.
his glass, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
are you saying?
Well, I think
I understand. I mean, it's. I get what you mean, though. I think there is certainly. I don't want to say pretension or pretentious
Yeah,
air.
yeah, no,
but
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's necessarily. It's not all putting on air. It's New York is the biggest city.
Yeah.
In the country, and it does have. The
Yeah,
most
no, you're
going on.
right. You're absolutely
And
right.
if
There's
you've never
a certain-
been,
yeah.
you wouldn't understand. It's like if you have ever been actually stood next to like an elephant or something actually gigantic. You would be stupid to not have a respect for something of that size
Mm-hmm.
and that much actual monumental power in motion.
And their babies are really cute too.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
anyway.
But it's the same thing with New York. Once you've been there, you're like, fuck, it is huge and there is so much shit going on. And you have to recognize that. It comes with the side effect for some people where you're just like, get out of your own ass. Like, but it's the same problem everywhere where people they get in their echo chamber and their place is the best place and Boston's just as bad as New York and almost every gigantic
it's true,
city.
and it's like
Yeah.
it's the same thing as like, you know, you guys sit here and say, you know,
Yeah, how beautiful Arkansas is. Yeah.
No, but just like, you know, how the red team is the good team.
Yeah,
down
yeah, for
here,
sure.
and it's like, you know, every place has their demons, right?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, it's just, it is what it is.
But I
Yeah.
have found that beneath their crusty exterior, almost every New Yorker I've actually talked to has been a fantastic person. Okay, I never got to.
yeah, you guys never got to ask some questions. Let's do that
here's the
first.
questions that
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
want.
yeah,
Because,
okay.
Because when I heard the cities y'all were doing, Seattle and New York, and then when you're doing the salons, it includes Little Rock. And I know y'all were looking at maybe D.C. or Baltimore area. So I was thinking about why those cities, and I know that your novel coming out is related to Seattle just based
Set
on the
there.
title. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I was curious. Did you have have you spent a lot of time in Seattle? I don't know your story, so I wanted to
I
hear
see.
like
tell us your
particularly
story,
very
Brian.
briefly because I don't want it to be. I know we've gone long.
I have to tell another story. After
I
the
just
one
want to
wrote?
hear about what are the places that you lived, and it needs to be longer than 2 years. So if you like went to Europe for like a little explanation?
Well, actually, Seattle was the place I lived for like 2 years. It might have been actually just under.
Did it
so
make
I don't know if it qualifies.
Did it make a super strong impression on you?
It was the coming of age.
Yeah.
Like it was my shitty ass little J.D. Salinger story, you know?
Yeah.
Catcher in the Rye. No, seriously, it was.
What age was it when you met? Well,
right after college.
So right after college, you went to Seattle.
Right after college, I went to Seattle, and honestly, the big thing was I went there. I had no prospects. My friend John, who is our third partner, it's John K. You know, the harbinger of all of this. Really, he basically after I graduated, he said, "Do you want to come out here?"
Yeah,
that was it. And I was like, "That sounds pretty cool."
Yeah,
and so cool. I go out there. And he's got, he's making bank at Amazon. Yeah. So he's got this high-rise apartment. But
where was it?
It's a one-bedroom. It's in the Denny Triangle, which is in downtown. It's between downtown
I know
and Capitol Hill. Mm-hmm.
And is that with all the hills and all that crap? Is that
well, area? Capitol Hill, it's literally a hill, and then downtown leads to the Puget, and like it's the coastline.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember. I went up there. I was looking for a shop, and I was like, "This place is fucking hilly." And I guess I was in Capitol.
Oh Hill. Yeah, anyways, that's the first thing that all my friends bitch about when they came out and visited. Yeah, no, so I go out there and I literally throw a mattress in the corner of his apartment.
Nice.
And I lived there for a year, and then we got a place on Capitol Hill that I found. But yeah, and that was it. I mean, I had to get a job myself. Like I literally walked around the city. I worked at a deli. I worked at Subway for a while. I wrote shit articles on Text Broker while I was just writing on the side.
So
like I was broke as fuck.
Yeah, so we hear the struggle in the tough. So what was it about in Seattle that made you love it? Because I hear a lot of
because it's probably the greatest city in America.
It's pretty cool, and what's
you've
funny,
been there, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you already said, but
once you go there, it's funny because I wanted to hear your take because it was probably one of the favorite. I've been to like 46, 47 states or something.
Oh shit!
Like
wow.
I've been in Seattle, and I don't know why. Every time I went there, I was like, "This is the fucking bomb." I was like, "This place is the shit."
It is the shit.
I don't really know why.
As soon as Katie,
the weather sucks. The people aren't
except for the summer.
Summer is beautiful. I was in Portland,
the best summer.
and I was in
best summer I've ever experienced.
I was in Edmond.
Seriously.
To the over to the off the Puget, and gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But anyways, the people aren't even particularly nice. I'm just gonna be honest. They do have weed there now, which is a thing, so that's a plus. But either way, every single time I was like, I don't know why, but I love this fucking city.
It's amazing.
I was like, this city is the bomb. And so I was curious. And so what do you think about it? Was there anything that particularly stood out about Seattle and
about Seattle
that made you?
Because it's the smartest city in the country.
Yeah,
it literally is. There's no coincidence that Jeff Bezos is from Seattle.
Hold on, I want to hear before we finish. I want to hear one of the words on the list. Pick the word
that we didn't hear. No, okay. So what is this thing that like you're trying to take the Lord's name, but like you can't do it because like
no, I told you that they were gonna have that on there, didn't I? You said that was gonna.
You guys are planning. You guys were literally planning out there.
This was my
say
it.
Say it.
Wait, what was it?
It was gosh.
Oh god.
Oh, that was one of them actually. That's not the one that I thought you were gonna say.
What'd you think? GD or something?
No.
Gosh dang it. Gosh or dang it.
That was it. But like, there's another one.
Darn it.
What's the? Hold on. Pick the best one that you
thought
we would for.
Oh, Mylanta.
I say Mylanta.
You only do it when you're at work.
Pig suey. There it is. Drink.
Woo! No, you got to do it. Ready.
All right.
Ready.
We gotta get. I need. So we're gonna make you. Do you know how to call the hogs? Have you ever? Do you know what it is?
No. I don't know.
So okay, we need to give them some research because I want some help on calling the hogs, and because you were born south of the Mason-Dixon, you can actually do it.
No, yeah. I mean,
north.
Like,
if you're born north of it, you try and start coughing. It's weird.
You get cancer.
I talked to a guy in Nebraska. He like black lung.
So let's talk about.
It was nuts.
Okay, are you ready to call the hogs?
No.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
He doesn't know how. You have to tell him how first.
Okay, so you start. Boys.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, we're quiet.
Okay. So in order to call the hogs, according to a girl who has lived in Arkansas her entire life, I have no real authority on the matter, so I just want to state that publicly. You start with your arms down low, down by your sides, and you're standing up in this. Okay?
Physical than I thought it was going to be.
So we're just going to go over the physical movements. Yeah. The physical movements while you are saying woo.
Yes.
Are sticking your arms down straight and lifting them slowly into the air as one is raising the roof
Yes.
so to speak. So
And
you
then
raise
once
them
they're
straight
up,
up.
you do the.
And you wave your hands. You do jazz hands
Yes,
while you're up
jazz
in the air.
hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Katie's gonna be
Lizzie
posting
was a
an
cheerleader, by the
official.
way. I saw the picture on Gangy's
I was
refrigerator.
on the Palm Squad. I was not a cheerleader. They are different. I was a dancer, and they are different. Okay, so you
My
start
hands
with your
feel
arms.
weird when I do this.
So you start with your arms down by your side.
Okay.
And you
What
slowly.
Why are you standing that way? Why are you standing that way? What? I missed that part.
I needed
that
to.
it?
I needed to be.
Is there anything
I
Right,
say?
so they
Yes,
can
you
have
go.
it.
You go.
silent.
Woo.
You're just silent.
No. So you raise your hands. That's the movement. So,
So-
then what you do is you go. You call the hogs. Are you ready, babe? I don't want to do it alone. Please
Just
don't make
play
me
a
do it
video
alone.
of
I'm
it.
doing-
Look it up
I'm
on your
doing
phone.
it. Okay,
Just
ready?
show
No,
it
let's
to
do
him.
it.
I will
Let's
do it.
do it.
Ready? Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's more.
Not yet. All right, that's it.
Big
Suey.
Big Suey. One more time. Big Suey.
Razorbacks. That's it.
And
We're
that's
not
it.
very
That's calling the
creative.
hogs.
Beautiful.
That's calling the
No,
hogs.
that's all right. Maryland is just M.
You are calling-
Maryland. Maryland. That's it.
Maryland knows how to spell their own state name. Congratulations.
Shut up. Oh yeah. So
We
when
gotta
you,
guess.
when you knock something over, what what?
Okay,
over?
don't say anything. Don't
When
say
you what?
When you knock. Oh shit!
When you
that's a
knock
big
something
one.
over.
I didn't pour these.
What
don't
it
know.
done what over?
I need everyone
Fell?
to know that they trust me.
God damn, that's my definition.
Ooh,
of it.
I know. Okay, I know.
You say it.
I will say if something falls over that it has tumped over.
Oh, bang.
Fuck.
Let's do it. There
Wow,
it
that's
is.
really
That's
southern.
the closer right there.
Jesus.
Okay, that's it for today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe and review on whichever platform you're listening. You can get in touch with us on Twitter at Animal Riot Press or Facebook and Instagram under the same name, or through our website, animalriotpress.com. This has been the 4th episode of the Animal Riot Podcast with your host, Brian Birnbaum, and featuring Lizzie and Sean Casteel. Transcripts for our deaf and hard of hearing animals are provided by Jonathan Kay, and we are produced by me, Katie Rainey. See you later, you filthy animals.
Oh, that's
That is
disgusting.
disgusting. Whose idea was that?
Oh.
Lizzie.
Click, word, yes sir, it's the burn. Bombing on y'all and getting gully as the fern. I don't know much about Lee.